What if I told you that a woman doesn't have to cheat, scream, or leave to show you she's not for you? Sometimes, the most dangerous signs come quietly, in the way she talks to you, tests you, or drains your spirit in small daily doses. Here's the Stoic truth. Love without respect is manipulation in disguise. And if a woman repeatedly crosses the line between connection and control, a man of clarity doesn't wait or walks. The signs are there. When she belittles your goals, when she uses silence to punish you, when she flirts with boundaries just to test your reaction, when she compares you to others to make you chase harder, when she dismisses your peace as weakness. Right now, you might be justifying her behavior, calling it a phase, or saying you're strong enough to handle it. But Stoicism isn't about tolerance. It's about knowing what to leave behind to protect your mind. If you're ready to stop making excuses for toxic patterns and start honoring your self-worth, like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment, I protect my peace above all. Number 1. When respect disappears, silence becomes your only armor. There comes a moment in every man's life when he realizes something unsettling. She hasn't raised her voice. She hasn't walked out. But something inside the relationship has shifted. The air becomes heavier, her words sharper. Even when disguised as jokes, your opinions are met with silence or sarcastic smirks. You find yourself double-guessing the tone of every conversation. That moment, right there, is not confusion. It is clarity knocking gently on your door. The respect is fading, and your silence is beginning to cost you your soul. We often believe red flags must scream, but the most dangerous ones whisper. They come dressed in charm, wrapped in clever language, and hidden behind cultural excuses, like that's just how women are. But as time passes, what once felt like love starts to feel like a battle you never agreed to fight. Certain phrases become weapons. You're too sensitive. You're lucky to have me. I need space, but I'm not going anywhere. They sound harmless at first, until you realize they're designed not to resolve conflict, but to shut it down, to make you feel guilty for simply wanting clarity, care, or consistency. This is where Stoicism enters not as an armor of indifference, but as a compass for dignity. As Epictetus taught, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. If you believe that enduring disrespect makes you loyal, or that silence will earn you love, you've mistaken tolerance for wisdom. This isn't about being controlling or overly critical. This is about recognizing when the cost of staying becomes your self-worth. A woman who gaslights you, who mocks your time, who plays the victim while demanding endless patience, is not confused. She's choosing herself at your expense, and the longer you rationalize it, the more you betray your own values. So here's the truth. Most men need to hear but are afraid to face. Walking away from a woman who refuses to honor your boundaries is not weakness. It's self-respect in action. This video is not about blaming women. It's about equipping you quietly, clearly, with the ability to detect when a woman is not emotionally fit to love you well. Through the lens of Stoic principles, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we'll decode 5 behaviors that don't just hurt. They signal a relationship that cannot grow. And remember, when a woman stops respecting you, you don't need permission to leave. You need clarity to choose yourself. Now, comment below, I protect my mind. No one else does. Number 2, she gaslights you into doubting yourself. She says, I never said that. Even when you remember the moment vividly, she calls you too sensitive when you express how something made you feel. She spins every confrontation into a case against your memory, your logic, your very perception of reality. That's not miscommunication, that's gaslighting. Gaslighting is the subtle art of erosion. It doesn't need to scream or slam doors. It only needs to make you doubt what you know to be true. A raised eyebrow, a sigh, a passive-aggressive, "I was just joking." These are the quiet tools that chip away at your certainty, and over time, you stop trusting your gut. You start apologizing for things you didn't do. You defer. You second-guess. You shrink. This is not love. This is psychological warfare disguised as partnership. The Stoics didn't speak of gaslighting directly, but their tools remain the antidote. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth. But what if the truth is being intentionally distorted?" In Stoic thought, wisdom is not just the pursuit of knowledge. It's the ability to discern truth from manipulation. When a woman continually forces you to explain yourself, to question your motives, or to feel guilt for simply drawing boundaries, she is not seeking understanding. She is seeking dominance. A man aligned with Stoicism doesn't argue to convince the gaslighter. He walks away to preserve his mind. The solution is not more proof, not longer conversations, not more emotional intelligence. The solution is clarity. I will not be in a relationship where I have to question my sanity to keep the peace. This is the kind of clarity that scares manipulative people, because they cannot control a man who sees clearly and stands silently in his truth. You are not crazy, you are not weak, but you will become both if you let someone else rewrite your reality every day. So leave without anger, without drama, without a need to explain. Let your silence speak where her words once twisted. Now, speak out and comment below. I protect my clarity, not her confusion. Number 3, she has no respect for your boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors with locks, and you, as a man of value, get to decide who gets a key. But when a woman repeatedly barges through those doors without knocking, when she dismisses your need for space, interrupts your solitude, mocks your rules, she's not being fiery or free-spirited. She's being disrespectful. It may start small. She reads your messages when you're not looking. She shows up unannounced. She insists on discussing sensitive topics when you've asked for a pause. At first, you let it slide. Maybe you tell yourself, she just cares too much, but over time, you realize it's not about care, it's about control. Every time you allow a line to be crossed, the next one gets easier to erase until you find yourself in a relationship where your time, your space, your emotional energy, and even your principles are no longer yours. Stoicism teaches that justice is giving each thing its due. That includes yourself. A man who respects himself enforces boundaries not to punish others, but to honor the dignity of his own existence. And he doesn't beg to be respected, he requires it through action. In the eyes of a manipulative partner, a boundary is a challenge, not a rule. She tests it to see if your word means anything, and every time you bend, you train her to expect more flexibility. But when you walk away, not in rage, not with theatrics, but with stillness, you redefine the dynamic. You show her that your peace is not up for negotiation. Because in love, respect isn't just one ingredient's the flame under the whole pot. Without it, everything rots. A woman who repeatedly violates your boundaries is not looking for a relationship, she's looking for ownership. And you were never born to be owned. Now, speak out and comment below. I protect my peace with unshakable boundaries. Number 4, she always plays the victim. In a healthy relationship, responsibility is shared. When conflict arises, both partners reflect, own their part, and grow together. But when a woman constantly casts herself as the victim, no matter what, you're not in a relationship, you're in a courtroom, and you're always on trial. It begins with subtle blame shifting. She forgets plans. It's because you didn't remind her. She lashes out. You made her feel that way. She lies it's your fault for not trusting her enough. Over time, You stop defending yourself, not because she's right, but because you're exhausted. This dynamic traps you in a loop. Her mistakes become your apologies. Her pain becomes your guilt. You walk on eggshells, trying to preempt her next meltdown, hoping that your sacrifice will calm the storm. But with every step, your dignity shrinks, and her narrative tightens its grip. From a Stoic perspective, this is where temperance becomes essential. True strength isn't in absorbing blame that doesn't belong to you, it's in knowing where your responsibility ends. A woman who weaponizes her pain to control you isn't being vulnerable, she's manipulating. Real emotional maturity means owning your shadows, not projecting them onto others. A woman who never admits fault is not self-aware, she's emotionally entitled. And no matter how deeply you care, you can't fix someone who uses guilt as a leash. The solution: disengage completely. Don't debate, don't justify, don't explain. When someone insists on making you the villain in every chapter, the most powerful response is to close the book. Leaving a perpetual victim doesn't make you cruel, it makes you courageous. It means choosing growth over guilt, peace over confusion, truth over illusion. Because the moment you stop apologizing for things that aren't yours, you reclaim something far more valuable than her approval. You reclaim your self-respect. Now, speak out and comment below. I refuse to carry guilt that doesn't belong to me. Number 5. She disrespects your time. Time is the most precious currency a man owns. Unlike money or possessions, you can never earn it back. So when a woman consistently disrespects your time-cancelling plans last minute, showing up late without remorse, or expecting you to always wait, you're not just being inconvenienced, you're being silently devalued. This behavior reveals something deeper. You're not a priority. You're an option. Your time becomes an afterthought, something she assumes will always be available. And once she begins to feel entitled to your presence, she stops earning your attention. In a society that glorifies tolerance, many men are taught to overlook this. They rationalize, thinking she's just busy, or I don't want to seem controlling. But every excuse chips away at your dignity, every unanswered text, every rescheduled date, every late arrival sends a message, even if unspoken, that your time doesn't matter. From the lens of Stoic philosophy, this is where courage and justice intersect. Courage to walk away from someone who doesn't respect your presence, and justice in treating yourself as someone worthy of respect, because you are. When you tolerate disrespect for your time, you teach her how to treat you, not through your words, but through your continued availability. You become predictable, always accommodating, always waiting, and eventually forgettable. A woman who values you respects your time as an extension of your soul. She shows up, she follows through. She doesn't just want your attention, she earns it. That's the kind of woman you build with. So what's the Stoic response when your time is taken for granted? Simple: withdraw it. Quietly, no drama, no accusations. Just a calm refusal to be someone's afterthought. Because the moment you start honoring your time, others will tour, they'll leave, and either outcome is a win. Now, comment below. My time is valuable, and I spend it with intention. Number 6. She stops trying. At the heart of every thriving relationship lies a mutual truth. Effort is the proof of care. When a woman stops trying, whether in her communication, appearance, emotional support, or attentiveness, she's sending a silent message that should never be ignored. She no longer feels the need to earn your presence. It doesn't happen overnight. One day, she stops asking how your day was. Another week, she stops making plans. Eventually, even her gaze becomes distant, and you find yourself carrying the emotional weight of the relationship alone. And still, many men stay hoping that love will come back, that maybe it's just a phase, or worse. that if they try harder, shall follow. This is where Stoic clarity cuts through the fog. Effort, from both sides, is the fuel of connection. When one partner withdraws that energy, the flame dims, and when it becomes one-sided, the flame dies. The tragedy isn't that she stopped trying. The tragedy is when a man accepts it and keeps showing up, carrying the emotional burden, offering consistency in exchange for complacency. In Stoic philosophy, this is a test of justice and self-respect. You are not required to stay in spaces where effort has expired. You are not obligated to water a plant that no longer grows toward the sun. If she's no longer meeting you halfway, the most dignified act is to stop walking in her direction. And yes, the modern world often praises staying power in relationships. But staying where you are no longer appreciated is not loyalty, it's self-abandonment. So, what should you do when the signs are clear? Withdraw with strength, not with resentment, not with punishment, but with peace. Let your absence speak the truth your words no longer need to. Because a man who values himself doesn't plead for effort, that draws effort out naturally by being someone worth investing in. If she cannot recognize that, she is not your partner. She is your reminder to choose better. Now, speak out and comment below. I will never settle for half love or half effort. Number 7. Reclaiming power through self-respect. There's a quiet power in knowing when to walk away. In a world where tolerance is often mistaken for love, many men remain stuck in relationships that slowly corrode their dignity, accepting emotional games, boundary violations, and a complete withdrawal of mutual effort. But as Stoic philosophy teaches, true love must begin with the love of one's own soul. The 5 red flags: gaslighting, boundary disrespect, victim playing, time disregard, and giving up effort are not minor flaws to overlook. They are clear indicators that the woman before you may not be a partner, but a mirror of your own hesitation to leave a place that no longer honors your growth. This is where Stoicism offers clarity, wisdom to discern what is happening beneath the surface, courage to act in the face of discomfort, justice to uphold your self-worth, and temperance to not let emotions hijack your dignity. These are not abstract virtues. They are tools forged for battle in everyday life, especially in love. Many believe leaving is weakness. It is not. Staying in something that diminishes your peace, your presence, and your purpose that is weakness dressed as endurance. Stoicism does not ask you to run from pain, but to face it with clarity and walk away when the path ahead offers no truth. By exiting toxic dynamics, you do more than escape harm. You raise the standard. You remind yourself that your time, your attention, and your emotional energy are sacred. You create space for relationships rooted in honesty, mutual effort, and admiration, not manipulation. And let us be clear, this is not about blaming women. It's about recognizing incompatibility and honoring yourself enough not to shrink to fit someone else's comfort zone. Some women will test you not to see if you'll lead, but to see if you'll abandon yourself for them. The greatest form of attraction is not need, or persistence, or proving your worth. It is the unshakable serenity of a man who refuses to stay where respect has left the room. Now, comment below, I walk away when respect walks out. You came here looking for a reason to stay, but now you've seen the truth. Her behavior is not random, it's revealing. And if she disrespects your time, tests your patience, or mocks your values, that's not love. That's slow erosion. Carl Jung said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." And the same applies to her. Her patterns speak louder than her apologies. The Stoic man doesn't argue, bug, or try to be understood by someone who's committed to misunderstanding him. He doesn't raise his voice. He raises his standards. If you're ready to leave with your dignity intact and your future protected, like this video, subscribe, and comment. If she costs me my peace, she's too expensive. Stay calm, stay grounded, because walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom backed by self-respect.